the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. It is another Wednesday night. How was your day at work, Kurt? What the hell?
I do. It's fantastic.
What the hell do you do during the week, man? I know that you like work and do like live sound engineering and shit like that, but what do you do like during the week?
I'm building a studio right now, buddy.
So tell us a little more about this studio that
Tommy
we're recording.
Sound?
Oh, Tommy Sound, the
Yeah.
utmost in professional recording.
That is correct. Name of the studio is going to be Speed of Sound.
Speed of Sound at. How about Tommy at Speed of Sound?
Nope.
No.
just Speed of Sound, buddy. That's all.
Nice.
No, we took a building in White Center, a big building that used to be an aquarium store, and basically eliminated a bunch of people's jobs and kicked them out of here.
Nice.
No, they're moving to a new location, but bought the building. It was built in like originally in the 40s or something, so the construction of it's like really
Pretty
weird.
nice. And then you guys are not just doing the utmost recording, but you're also doing a lot of video and
Video editing, a rehearsal studio for bands,
Nice.
Recording studio. We do live sound, so there's a big depot of live sound gear and that kind of thing.
just figured I'd just go ahead and plug you right now, so
Thanks,
before
buddy.
I forget.
Appreciate that.
And we have Heather Nixon. How you doing?
Heather!
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm okay. I had a good day.
Good.
How about you?
My day was fantastic.
Good. I had a good day. Pretty good. I'm still working on those cars.
Is there some cool secret stuff happening over at Vintage Customs?
Not really. Had lunch. Just did some body work.
Really, dude? When the first thing you mentioned in your day is I had lunch, it must have been pretty lax.
I was sleeping the first part.
fair enough.
You know what's funny though is I wake up at like 10. Like really, I'm at work and I'm working, but
Right.
I don't even know
And
I'm
you're
working.
Like, Whoa,
and-
I'm at work right now.
Oh fuck, man!
Holy shit.
Well, you zone. It's cool because it's like a kind of a job where you can kind of zone off if you need to. Anyways, we have a very special guest here.
Very special.
A good friend of mine. We've been talking, man, we've been just bullshitting about libertarian ideas, principles, and stuff for God knows 3-4 months now. C. Michael Pickens, the executive director of the Libertarian Party of Washington State. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
No, this is great, man. It's been like an honor. You've been, you've been helping the Launchpad out. You helped us with the website. Thank you very much for doing that.
Well, can I talk about how we got to meet?
Yeah, how did?
Please do.
So I got an email at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It came
No,
through
it
on
was
the
like
website.
5. It
It's
was
like,
5
okay,
a.m.
what-
I remember.
you know, Johnny, get this email. Hey, I'm a libertarian. I want to start a radio show. Something along those lines.
That was it, huh?
That was it. And I called him up. Great. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
yeah. You helped me out. What happened was, I started having that idea for the Launchpad.
Right.
And I called you. I said, hey, I got this idea, Kurt. I want to do this show. It could be good. I think I have a lot to talk about. How I could talk for hours for and piss people off.
And it's rather entertaining.
Yeah, and so I figured, hey, I think, the message of liberty could be spread. Kurt's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, dude.
I have I'm busy and shit. I don't know. I say, well, Kurt, come on, man. I know that my record label owes you money, but we're friends.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that, man.
No, they don't owe you money.
Well, see, the thing with the Libertarian Party, we're all about free market.
Right.
Free market of ideas and innovation,
Yeah.
creativity. So when that came in, when any idea comes into us, we're like, yeah, go for it. We don't know how it's going to work out, but hey, it may work out really good.
It might
So
work.
why not go for
Sure.
it?
Work in the favor of the of us, and everyone's a win-win situation.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Tommy Sound would win, you would win, Heather would win.
You see, what I'm really
Wait,
tired
wait.
about is
What do I win?
I don't know, we get paid.
Johnny
a lot.
freaking Rocket, girl.
I already had him.
Oh, fair
been
enough.
there, done that.
Fair enough.
Got the T-shirt, and she really does. Are you wearing the Hot Rod and Romeo's T-shirt?
No, and I had to buy that.
Oh, that's wrong. That's right. You know what?
That was before we dated.
I had to buy my copy of the record that I produced too.
No, you didn't. No, you
Yes,
did
yes,
not.
I did. I donated to the fundraiser.
Yeah, but you didn't. That was a
Okay,
donation.
I didn't
You
buy.
have
I
to
didn't.
buy it.
All right, never mind. Never
You
mind.
would have gotten it.
Thanks, Johnny. I got one for free. I love
Regardless.
it. I love that record. It's my favorite record.
Yeah, he produced the Booze Hounds, our second record. So that was fun. We had a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was sitting here thinking about doing this radio show, and I think most people, the difference between me and most people is people have a lot of ideas, but they never act on it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about being a doctor. Well, that's great. You can think about it all day.
a lot of
it's
work.
not going to happen. There's a lot of work involved.
And sick people. Ew.
Yeah.
Heather.
Heather.
Heather. That's not PC.
But You know what I'm saying? So I figured, I could spread the message of liberty. Finally, I convinced Kurt. Kurt's like, fine, fuck it, we'll do it.
If you'll stop calling me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
So basically, he says, okay, well, we don't have anywhere to record. How about if we just like put a couple mics up around my coffee table or around my kitchen table in my house? I'm like, fine, I don't care. Will it sound like a house? Probably not, because you have good mics. So then he proposed the idea to Tommy at Tommy Sound, or now soon to be Speed of Sound. And he's like, hell yeah. Yeah, you need to get some mics, man.
Tommy even bought us a few.
Yeah, we bought the SM7s. He's like, Kurt was like, what's your favorite mic, Johnny? I'm like, fuck yeah, the SM7. Boom, we got it.
Boom. Couple of them.
Yeah, that's bad. They're awesome. Yeah, so we basically did it. Then, like, I guess a few days later, I said, fuck, man, now I got a show off, starting. Now I got to get some guests.
But it was way back then. You were talking about, hey, this guy, see Michael Pickens.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
He's been talking about the conversation that started with the 5 o'clock in the morning email for months now.
Yeah.
Months now.
It's been like 3 or 4 months.
Really, really great to finally have you here.
You know, that came in, and I looked at your videos, your band, the Hot Rod and Romeos, and I was like, yeah, I'm looking for something to spread the message of liberty differently than the typical, political radio show. Everyone's in a box, burp, 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 burp,
Right.
follow the lines. And, we need to expand. We need to reach people that aren't into politics, because the people who are into politics right now are dirtbags.
Right.
So,
well,
Indeed.
I wanted to take, I think the audience is the key with the show, because I kind of want to, I think people who are, I want to be the voice or talk to people who actually, maybe work for a living. You know what I mean? People who actually, use wrenches and hammers or in construction. Be the voice for the white or for the blue collar people, and not necessarily. I know Kurt's like, you almost said white collar. What the fuck?
No,
I thought you almost said
No, I
white.
thought you were going to. Yeah. Me and Heather are on the same
voice for
page.
the white people.
No.
Wow, I wasn't even going there. God. Okay, now.
Instantly, me and
I'm
Kurt
now
are frightened.
racist now. I don't.
Oh, God.
I'm
I
throwing
wanna
markers
be the
down.
voice
Edit,
for white
edit,
people.
edit.
No, but like I think there's not. Yeah, I think as Michael was saying, it's like you listen to these political shows, and yeah, they're informative, but they're not fun. They're not really funny. They're they're good for I want to get some information, but it starts. You can tune it out. You can have it on in your house, and you can tune it out really quickly. Oh, this show's on. Rush Limbaugh's on again. Fuck. DEIB network.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
But I don't listen to Rush. So, Michael Pickens, what's the deal with the Libertarian Party? What's going on? We have a thing tomorrow. What's that all about?
Yeah, so we're pretty much kicking ass right now. In
Okay.
2012 in Washington State, there were no libertarians running for state office, and right now we have over 20, which is a huge jump.
Wow.
Yeah, running serious campaigns too. So I've been here in this position for a year now, and it's part-time volunteer because I have another business that I run. But I do it because I love it. And all of our candidates, they all work, they all have families, but they're doing it because they love it too. Not only do they love it, but they see how important our cause is right now. Not a lot of people realize the laws and the regulations that are being put into place by these government officials, these politicians, they are hampering the economy. They're ruining people's lives. People are getting thrown in prison for victimless consensual crimes. It shouldn't be crimes at all. So all this injustice is going on out there, and we've got to do something. For too long, we've allowed these authoritarians to write these rules that govern us. Well, see, the thing is, man, I'm 29 years old. Okay, a lot of these rules were in place before I could vote. I didn't give them permission.
Right.
I didn't vote for these people that 20 years ago made this abstract law, or 50 years ago
Sure.
made this
Oh, yeah.
abstract law. Why do I have to follow it? So one of the proposals we have is to sunset some of these laws. Like every 8 years, a law gets put up for a vote again.
Ooh,
Right?
very cool.
It's gotta-
Oh, man, I love the sound of that right there.
Oh, yeah.
One of my biggest bitches is the whole lawmaking scheme and how the whole thing works.
But not just laws, every tax. Because they say, oh, well, we're going to put up this levy for schools, and it's only going to be for a certain amount of time, and until we get this school funded. But guess what? The time limit runs out, and they keep the tax, and they just add another one on
Right.
top, and they add
Yeah.
another one on top, and add another one on top of it. It's like, hey, let's vote on these again. And
That's a great idea.
government
fantastic
officials,
idea.
they don't like it. Because guess what? As soon as this sunset provision passes where we get to revote, there's going to be their ballot's going to be like 100 pages of
Let's
all
think
these
about though, like
taxes.
majority of those laws that are actually being, that are being written and created benefit somebody and help and assist somebody in gaining money. Let's
Yeah.
face it. Somebody is making money. And if it's not directly doing it, it's indirectly on the side. They'll throw some sort of, smaller legislation at the bottom. And so
Yeah, 1,000-page laws.
Yeah, and then nobody
Crazy.
reads it. Nobody reads it. It's really to help their buddies, their friends, and half these people who are in office right now, either it be state or federal, guess what? They're owned by somebody.
Oh, yeah, look at the campaign contributions, man.
Right.
We've actually done the research, and all these incumbents right now, currently in Olympia here in Washington, they get 90 to 100% of their money comes from corporations, from special interest groups, out of state, out of their district. These guys are being bought and paid for by these corporations, and you could see it in their votes.
Absolutely.
You see the way they vote.
Absolutely. So what do what's the Libertarian Party? How are we going to do something maybe different?
Okay, so we're not accepting any campaign contributions from corporations or special interest groups. Not only that, but at the end of the filing period coming up in May, all of our candidates are coming out against all this special interest money, and we're going to call out the incumbents and say, hey, if you don't give back this special interest money, we're going to assume you're bought and paid for. You don't, because how can you work for
Fantastic.
the people if you're taking all this corporate money?
Sure.
Exactly.
And then, they need to have a special session about this Boeing stimulus package. Well, then you look at all the representatives who are getting paid by the Boeing PAC and the Aerospace PAC and all these companies that are attached to Boeing. But we need to, pass these stimulus to keep Boeing in the state. Yeah, give them a bunch of tax breaks and all this stuff. Well, guess what?
Right.
If tax breaks are good for Boeing, they should be good for everyone. And you
right.
need to treat every business and every individual fairly on an even playing field regardless.
Absolutely. And that's a problem is because there's a lot of people. And again, I don't know where you stand on this, but Boeing,
I'm sitting down right now.
They're getting so slammed right now with union dues and stuff like that and things that they have to pay in this state where they could easily move and make more profit somewhere else.
Yeah.
So the Washington state is not very appealing to a lot of businesses right now because a lot of businesses are getting fucked point blank.
That's a special interest money, man, because
Exactly.
the unions are paying the politicians to get them reelected.
Exactly.
So they're going to make regulations. Oh, you have to be in a union. Well, you know what? The Libertarian Party is pro-choice on everything. So we're not anti-union, but we're pro-worker, whereas a worker can decide whether they want to be a part of the union or not, whether they want to pay $1,000 a year to be a part of the union, or if they want to just hire their own mediator to come in and negotiate their salary.
100%. I agree with you. I agree. I think if you want to be in the union, it should be completely voluntary, but there's a lot of businesses that do not allow that.
It's tough to do business in the state of Washington, just Washington based on tax alone.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, we're building a rather large business here, and we're doing it, on a shoestring, and we're paying almost 10% tax on everything we're doing here. And when you start talking about somebody like Boeing or somebody who's doing much bigger things, that tax is, it's astronomical.
Yeah, and then you look at the fees for the permits, for everything else.
Yep.
And, that's one thing that just drives me nuts is that to do construction on a building like this, you have to get permission from your government to come in and do construction on it. And then they bring in their inspectors. The inspector stands here for a minute, looks around, and says, okay, you're doing a good job.
Or,
walks out.
you're going to have to change that. See you later.
Yeah.
Well, and then to have that guy come out, it's like $350 an hour.
No, it's part. It is, and I just went through this. It's part of our original. We probably got almost $3,000 into our first permit for this building. Our inspections are part of that, but then what they do is they require us to do a seismic upgrade to this building because it's so old. Which, all right, right on. But now we have to get a separate special inspection that we have to pay for that, and the basic inspections are one thing. But when they start requiring you to have all these other special inspections, that you have to have a private party come out, and if they don't like what you're doing, they're not going to sign off, and you got to pay them again, and then they're going to come out again. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But it's just money on top of money, hidden fees. We have to have this guy to inspect this guy, to inspect this guy. Then you need EPA coming out.
Right? Oh,
you're like Jesus.
And we're working on
Where
a
does
building.
it end? Where does
nobody this building that we're working on has been added on to since the 40s. It was originally a feed and seed store in the 40s. Now there's never been a permit pulled until we pulled our permit on this building ever. I'm like, that's cool. Why can't we do that?
Right.
Why don't we just build on and not pull a permit? And no, nowadays we would have been busted and big time fines, and there's no way you could get away with that nowadays.
Yeah, they're going to fine you for what? What crime did you commit?
For building in a building that we own.
Yes. building on your own property.
Inside or
again,
under our own
But
roof.
we got to talk about this too. They put that in there as a safeguard, as they say,
Well,
right? Because
it's
if
for the
they-
safety of the people.
the safety of the people,
Right.
right? Well, if a contractor comes in and they do a bad job and they screw up somewhere and something happens, they have insurance to cover that.
They're liable for
They're
it. That's
liable for it, and that's part of the free market coming in.
Right.
They're going to get sued, and it's going to cost them some money, and that's why they have their insurance.
And then hopefully that will force them out of business, and because they're a bad contractor, or they'll fix whatever
Exactly.
they're doing, or
Exactly.
whatever it is. That whole system runs itself. We don't need government behind
Yeah,
it.
the licensing structure that's behind it is just to pay the government. You got to look at, hairdressers. You got to do 1,000 hours of
Yeah.
You need a degree to cut hair.
work, and then
Yeah.
and then you got to pay your licensing fee every year, and then every 2 years you got to retake the test, and to cut hair.
It's stupid, man. It's ridiculous. Hey, this is Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with our special guest, C. Michael Pickens. We'll be right back.
Are you a small business owner or starting a new business in Washington State or Idaho? From startup to daily business operations, the law offices of P. Steve and Aida can assist you with your legal needs. Strategy for business development, intellectual property, and contracts are just a few of the many services P. Steve and Aida offers. Give them a call at 253-858-5434 and visit their website, aidalaw.com, AITALAW.com. Vintage Customs in Tacoma specializes in the restoration of vintage European automobiles and racing vehicles. From complete restorations to rust repair, performance improvements to upholstery jobs, you can count on Vintage Customs to provide precision, quality, and superior craftsmanship on every project. Now offering performance racing parts. Give them a call at 253-267-5262 and visit their website, www.vintagecustoms.net. Everything vintage is our custom.
This episode of the Johnny Rocket Launchpad is recorded at Tommy Sound, White Center's best and utmost professional recording studios for your sound reinforcement, studio recording, and audio production needs. Please contact Tommy Martin at bambam@tommysound.com, 206-229-7937. Rock and roll from Tommy Sound. The views here at the Johnny Rocket Show does not necessarily reflect the views of Tommy Sound. Johnny Rocket is a libertarian, and Tommy does not necessarily share the same views that Johnny Rocket and the Launchpad crew possess. So if you feel like you are offended by Johnny Rocket's show, Tommy Sound had nothing to do with it. Thank you for your support.
Are you interested in getting the word out about your business, band, or upcoming event? The Johnny Rocket Launchpad broadcast is the place to share your message. Shoot us an email at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com to discuss how we can help you boost your business.
Chris Kelly, Libertarian candidate, 34th District, Position 1, believes in liberty, freedom, and justice. Chris Kelly will work to establish a clear path from the underground to legal and economic responsibility by capturing the full potential of the cannabis industry, including hemp, which will create new jobs and boost the bottom line. Leading by example in the area of campaign finance reform, he will fight for a free and open internet and accessible education. Support Chris Kelly. Go to his website, facebook.com/Rep Chris Kelly.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad. We just listened to a couple of messages from our great sponsors. I think that was Vintage Customs and Tommy Sound, soon to be Speed of Sound. We have to change that now. Fuck.
We do have to change that. And Steve and Aida, yes?
P. Steve and Aida.
He's Steve and Aida.
Yeah. When she says that,
AIDALaw.com.
AIDALaw.com. AITALAW.com.
How do you spell that again? Okay.
How do you spell that, Heather?
I've only known him since the first grade. It's hard to remember.
He's our legal assistant. So we
So
made,
thank you for knowing him since the first grade.
I know. I got
Yeah, well-
connections, man.
Well, what's cool is like he's like, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll like draft your contracts and shit like that. You just advertise my business. I'm like,
And make sure you send copies of the ads to him for his file.
yeah, he needs that. It's a legality thing.
We did that.
It's for the
already.
bar. I didn't get it.
We did that already. By
He's
the
got
time,
him.
By
He's
the time
got him,
this
right?
airs.
Roger. Anyways, we have our special.
Roger.
We have Roger. We have our special guest, C. Michael Pickens, here from the executive director of the Libertarian Party of Washington State.
I thought for myself.
And so, like I said, C. Michael Pickens is pretty much the organizer. You are the pretty much the brains behind the whole libertarian movement in the state. I mean, you are the guy who kind of pushes some buttons, kind of nudges people in the direction. How did you become a libertarian?
I grew up in a social conservative household and grew up, Republican. And in 2007, I was watching a Fox News debate. It was the first presidential debate, and Ron Paul was up on stage, and he was saying, you know what, the terrorists don't hate us because they're free and prosperous. They hate us because we've been over there bombing them and meddling in their business since 1953. And I heard that, and I've never heard that before, and I was like, well, that's different. So I started doing some research and realized, yeah, well, that's the truth. And that was the first time I actually heard of libertarianism also. So I just delved into that and learned more about it. And you really get to understand what liberty and freedom is. We are programmed to love liberty, in the Pledge of Allegiance, the last line, for liberty and justice for all. But when you go out on the street and you actually ask people, what is the definition of liberty? Freedom? They blank. They don't really know.
Sure.
So one thing that we're working on is to actually define the word. And I like to go in city council meetings and tell these guys, because they say the Pledge of Allegiance for liberty and justice for all, and then they go and vote away our liberty. And liberty is the absence of outside control or oppression over our lives as long as we're not infringing on the rights of anyone else. It's simple as that. If you infringe on someone's rights, that's tyranny, right? And our government is doing that right now. And the thing that really trips me out is that the American Revolution was based on like a 3% tax on tea. Like the colonists were like, we want to self-govern, right? No,
right.
King George, 3,000 miles away, telling us what to do, right? And now I think there was someone.
We're like a million times more oppressed right now, and we're like,
I know.
Yeah, whatever. I wonder what sports team's going to win
but
today.
nobody's fucking with our tea. That's
well,
the thing.
I guess they were all English and they got pissed off at the time.
That's right. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Hey,
That's
don't worry.
it.
Don't worry about
That's
it. You could have your red coats hang out here all day, but you're fucking with tea? Fuck you.
Right. That's
That'd be like someone fucking with beer.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, well, they already did
went.
that.
We
They
went through
already
that
did
too. We went through
They'll
that
keep
too.
doing it.
So when they were deciding to revolt, there was a guy there who is a King George sympathizer, and he said, well, would you trade, one tyrant 3,000 miles away for 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away? And guess what happened? We did that. And that's what we're living under right now. Unfortunately, people are confused and think the 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away are actually in your city council or they're politicians, but they're not. The 3,000 tyrants are your fellow citizens in your neighborhood who are voting for authoritarians, who are voting for these candidates that talk tough, but then they're putting in stupid laws that just don't make any sense. There's no common sense behind it, and that's kind of the way the government runs. Government logic, right? If you do drugs, or drugs will ruin your life. So if we catch you doing them, we're going to throw you in a cage for years and ruin your life.
Even more.
Right.
Even more.
It doesn't make
We're
any
here
sense.
to protect you from yourself.
Yeah.
Matt, you know that old thing, what's the scariest words the government could ever say? We're here to help.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, again, that is very true.
Yeah.
But again, you're looking at the libertarian point of view. You've been coordinating stuff with all the different candidates. We have how many running this?
Right now, officially filed, I think we have 14, but the filing date isn't for another 2 months or 6 weeks from now. So we're going to have some more, and I think there's like 22 on the list that are going to be filing. And this is amazing for us. Right now, no other political party besides the Republicans and Democrats have filed any candidates.
And did you say we had none last year?
None in 2012.
None in 2012. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're at 2022-ish this year.
So the way Washington works is that even years are state and national elections, odd years are local election. Okay, so 2012, 2014, now we're back to state. And the guys that we have running right now, they're quality people, right? They want to make a difference, and it's just getting the word out and getting people to understand.
We've had a bunch of them here on
You
the
have,
show.
yes,
We've had,
I appreciate that.
We've had Eli Olson. We had Stephen Nielsen. We had Chris Kelly.
Yep.
We had, he's not a candidate, but he's a voice of liberty. Mr. Robin Kerner.
Yeah.
So we've just had a lot of guests, and me and Michael are talking. He's like, okay, sending another candidate over in your direction. He's going to launch some ideas on your show. And I'm like, all right, cool. So no, we've been doing that, and it's cool. It's like I feel like I'm doing something positive. You know what I mean? And that's really the reason why we're doing this show is I really want to be, influence somebody. It could be very, very small. It doesn't matter. At least I'm doing something. I'm giving back to the community somehow. And if it's a voice of freedom and liberty, so be it.
Well, one thing about us is we appreciate the individual, right? So when candidates come and they want to run for office, we had a guy, Jonathan Martinez, out in Spokane. He has long hair, right? He's like, oh, well, I want to run. Do you need me to cut my hair? Like, no, don't cut your hair. Be yourself. Be who you are. People are sick and tired of the typical politician, right? They're sick and tired of the suits. We don't want to be suits. We've
Yeah,
got to
but
show them that we're different.
Right.
We've had every one of our
I
guests.
know.
that
I
showed
was just
up in
going to
a
say
suit.
that. I was just going to say that. And we've even had we've had a guest
No,
or
I'm
two
joking.
that got on here and they were like, "I'm going to say fuck on the microphone."
Is that okay?
I'm
say
a
it?
politician and I'm going to start saying shit and stuff like that. Is that cool?
And we're like, please bring it.
Please, yeah. Like,
And I said, I'll lead by example. Fuck, 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 fuck. And they're like, wow, this is great. I've never been in anything like this before. And I'm like, welcome to internet radio. All right,
Right,
this is
right,
how
right.
it rolls, you know.
But the point is, though, is that it's we're appealing at and more than hopefully this show, we're appealing to a crowd that's not necessarily the stuffed shirt like a PC. You know, we're appealing to a different crowd, and I think that's not only necessary, but it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, who wants to really hang out with old people anyway? So, you know, I'm sorry, old people, but you're not going to listen to this show, so fuck you, okay?
Kind of
You
an
know,
old guy.
The problem we have is there's too many politicians, not enough statesmen. Now, I'm going to define politics. When you break the word down to its simplest form, you have poly, which means multiple, like a polygon, a multiple-sided object, and then you have ticks, which are blood-sucking parasites.
I knew you were Is this Latin?
Yeah, it's Latin. Essentially, you have multiple blood-sucking parasites that are sucking the blood of what? America.
right.
The American people. That, you know, and our lifeblood is liberty. Okay,
Right.
and I look at the libertarians. We're coming in as the fumigators, right, to get the ticks off the backs of the American people, to offer real common sense solutions that move us towards liberty, not a complete jump, you know, not a complete anarchy type deal.
Right.
We're going to move step by step, and we're going to use solutions that are going to actually benefit people and not hurt anyone at the same time. For example, the Republicans want to cut welfare every chance they get. They want to cut social services, but they won't cut their own freaking salaries, right? So what we're talking about is, why don't we leave welfare on the table? Because people, children, families are depending on this money and this food to survive. So why don't we leave that? Why don't we cut some of the other stuff? What you have to realize is that the need for a welfare state and a social safety net isn't the problem. It's a symptom of a problem. And the problem is a bad economy. Well, how did America get to be the superpower, economic superpower of the world? It wasn't through government regulation. It was because we did not have government regulation. We had low taxes, and that's how we're able to boost the economy and provide so much opportunity. Well, it would only make sense to get rid of some of these regulations, lower the taxes so we increase opportunity so people can actually pull themselves out of the system. And you know, I've met libertarians who are on welfare, who worked hard. The recession hit them, right? The government regulation, the economy tanked, and they're forced to do this. Are they proud of it? No. But they understand the underlying cause of the problem, and it's this regulation, it's these politicians, these freaking ticks that are
Multiple blood-sucking
parasites.
parasites. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've got to fix that. That's how we fix it. And it's not by cutting welfare. It's not by pulling food off people's tables.
Well, it's not an overnight. It's not an overnight thing either. You know.
Well,
I mean,
I think if you just did it, it would just throw everyone in shock,
There'd be
and they wouldn't know
riots
how
in
to
the
recover
street.
from it. I mean, that's
and
obviously
then you'd be the
cruel.
asshole for doing it.
Right.
Right
No
away.
one's going to like you. I'm the guy who took away welfare.
Right.
Hey, applaud. But here again, though, me personally, I have very conservative, fiscally, I'm very conservative. You know, we have welfare in these things because the state and the government wants you to be dependent on them.
Well, yeah, they run radio ads for it.
Right. I mean,
Right.
they want.
Right.
I mean, and hell, President Obama's pimping his Obamacare right now.
Yes.
I mean, it's getting that bad.
Well,
you know.
the amazing thing yesterday was the deadline to sign up.
Oh, yeah.
For the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you sign up?
No, I did not.
I didn't either.
I didn't.
Didn't even try. Didn't even attempt. And the
I
White
haven't
House
even
actually
been to the
announced yesterday that there was 7.1 million people signed up for Obamacare.
I have not
or
met one.
Affordable Care Act. And wait, 7.1 million.
Wait a minute.
Let's see. Didn't 7 million people lose their freaking health insurance?
Right.
So you got 0.1 million people that
Right.
you know, that they've increased with health insurance. But see, this is the thing. They're trying to fine us into buying a product. You know, do you know what the fines are?
Well, I know that the fines are less than if you actually signed up for it.
Right now they are.
Right now
right,
they are,
right,
but
but
they're
they will
gonna
go
increase.
up exponentially. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and if things keep going the way they're going, that will turn into a jailable offense.
Oh, sure.
So this is how it works right now. If you're not signed up for Obamacare, you're going to get a $95 fine or 1% of your annual income, whichever is higher. Okay, so if you make $10,000 a year, guess what? You're paying $100, right? There's your $95, right? Just $10,000 a year is going to keep going up.
Right.
Next year, it becomes 2%. Next, after that, it becomes 3%. They're forcing people into a system. Is this freedom?
No.
Is this the land of the free
No.
we live in? No, it's not.
No.
And people are waking up to it. And one thing we got to realize, though, that I try to work with on the Tea Party and conservatives, they're totally against government staying out of health care, except when it comes to medical marijuana. They want the government in it.
Exactly. It's a
they
double
can't-
standard.
Yeah,
It's a
we
double
got to get
standard.
people to realize you can't pick and choose where you want the government.
Right.
And yes, I have conservative friends of mine. They're like, I want less government. I want this. I want less government here. I want less government. Well, what about abortion? Nope, that's fucked up. Nope,
We're
no
going to throw them all in
abortion.
jail.
Right.
Throw
Right.
them all in
Well,
jail.
wait a minute. You want people to, be able to, what about people? People should have the right to do whatever they want. I agree, 100%. Say those that couple over there, they're gay. Fuck that. No, they shouldn't be gay. That's against the Bible. Oh, okay. Well, pick and choose your fights. It doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah.
Or her, whoever I'm talking about. But what I'm seeing is it's a double standard. Both parties are doing it.
Yes.
They have their own self-interest in mind, and that's not fair. And no one, that's what I like about the Libertarian Party is that, yeah, I don't like something. I don't like marijuana. Not my gig. I told Chris Kelly this, but I like you. You're a cool guy, dude. Not my gig. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. You could smoke it in front of me. I don't care. However, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But you have the freedom to do that, and I'm not going to judge you. I don't want a law to
That's
regulate
great,
you.
man. It's great.
You know what I mean? I don't want a law. I don't want to create a law to regulate your behavior because I don't like it. Fuck you. Who am I?
Yeah, and one argument that the right likes to use against people who use drugs or whatever, whether it's medical marijuana or anything else,
the
is
family.
that, they'll steal from people and they hurt people. Well, okay, if they steal from someone or if they hurt someone else to get their drugs, they've just committed a crime and they've infringed on someone
else's
else.
rights.
There's your crime.
There's the crime. That's
There's
what you
your
charge
offense.
them with.
Exactly.
There's the offense right there. But look, you know what Portugal did in 2001? They decriminalized all drugs in Portugal.
Everything.
What that means, if you get caught in the street with heroin, this is what happens. You still get a citation and you have to go to drug court. And in drug court, they give you two options. Okay, one option is you can go to rehab and get better. The other option is you can go back out on the street. This is your choice. What they did, they're allowing people to now come out of the shadows and get help for an issue if they believe that they need help. And if they don't, if that's how they want to live their life, they're allowed to do that because that's freedom.
Right.
Okay. So it's a move in the right direction. It's not complete legalization. It's a compromise, but it's a good compromise and it's a good step in the right direction.
Well, I think the key word is decriminalize.
Decriminalize, yeah.
I mean, obviously, we don't want heroin on our streets. I mean, there's got to be some level. I mean, heroin's
And it's-
pretty. You could die from just a few uses of it. I mean, I'm saying
Oh, yeah.
yes, but I'm saying is if you are caught with heroin, you shouldn't go to jail for the rest of your life. Or
Well,
you,
sure, and let's educate people. By the way, heroin's bad, buddy.
Yeah, well,
Well, I mean,
okay,
that
let me
goes
ask you
without
guys a
saying.
question. Okay, if heroin was legal today, would any of you in here do it?
No, sir.
Of course, I would.
All right, Johnny, come on, man.
Yeah, so you
No,
know,
I
you
know,
ask
of
that to
course
people
not.
in the street, they're like, "No, I'd never do heroin."
Right.
Well, guess what? These people who are actually doing it, what if they had a viable option where they could come out and get help and not get stuck in a cage for 3 years?
Well, I think there is.
Yeah, but they're scared.
Of course.
Because the programs aren't there. We're pouring all this money into the prison system, prison industrial complex, where prisoners are now a commodity, and we need to fill these prisons here.
Well, yeah, because they
There's-
make money.
Yeah.
That's a money-making thing.
In
That's a money-making
California,
thing.
the number one lobby group in California is the Prison Guard Union. They
I'll bet.
spend more money than any other organization on political campaigns. And guess what? They're ratcheting up punishment because they need more people in prison.
Right.
And it's a business.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you what. I have a friend, a good friend, that is hooked on even still currently hooked on opiates. And me and some other friends got together. We did the whole intervention thing, blah blah blah, and including members of his own family. And this guy, he was like, "All right, this is clearly a big deal. I'll do the rehab thing." So we got with him, and to get him into rehab, was either, sorry, it's not going to happen today. We got a waiting list that's 8-9 months, or it's going to cost you, $14,000 to get you in a bed
Wow.
today.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and so like these are his options, and so we ended up, at that point left with, all right, we're going to do our best. We're going to try and raise some money, blah blah blah, and basically he walked away from the whole thing still hooked on opiates, and
Here's one thing.
we weren't able to do anything about it.
Here's a suggestion, though. I mean, again, I'm not for the government. I'm sorry, but I'm not for the government creating a program.
I'm not saying that's the answer
for people. What I think, though, should happen is, again, one thing we're lacking right now is community. And if our communities got together and said, hey, let's say the churches got together, hey, we'll put money together for this program. Again, this way the power is still within the hands of the people.
Sure.
Or charities or any kind of organization. Somebody could create an organization to do this.
You have this great idea, right, of a church or a nonprofit starting this organization that helps people. Well, guess what? You need to first pay this fee.
Right.
To the government,
Right.
and get
That's all I'm
permission,
saying.
and then you have to get accredited, and you have to get certified. You have to go through all these hoops, and they're going to come in and inspect. What exactly are you doing? How are you treating?
Oh,
them?
that sounds
Oh,
like
you
a
can't-
methadone clinic, and now
you have the health department in there going,
Oh, yeah.
how are you running your business?
Exactly.
This is wrong. It's free. It's a charity. If as long as you are not hurting anyone, you see where I'm going with this.
And by the way, let's stop throwing these
I guess
people
it's
in jail.
better.
This
I
guy
guess
is-
it's better than going to jail or dying. If the communities got together and said, "Hey, look, why don't we get Jim and Jill and hey Frankie over there? Hey, why don't we donate our money, put our money towards this great idea, a great cause? Oh, and then we have to deal with this paperwork, and then we have to wait 4 years for it to get approved, and it's bullshit." Anyway, so this is Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. We're going to spin some tunes from Splatterhouse Records. We'll be right back with our special guest, C. Michael Pickens.
Well, I got a friend that I can't lose. The only one I have, but I can't lose. Blues is always there with no suitcase. Blues is always with me when life's on the plate. Now I'm in the park from drinking the dog. I got my can of drinking pop because the blues is my dog. Blues hound, don't you ever go and leave me. Without blues, things could never be the same. Blues hound, don't you ever go and leave me. Blues is always there whenever I say your name. Blues to play. Oh, makes you feel alright. Oh, till the feeling bites. Oh, gets me through the night. Oh, it's got a lot of fights. Well, I wake up every morning early every day. You see my blues coming from a mile away. With blues I can sleep all night long. If only you could help me write this song. I'm out in the fog from drinking the grog. I got my can of drinking Paul because the blues is my dog. Blues have known to ever go and leave me. Without blues things could never be the same. Blues have known to ever go and leave me. Blues is always there whenever I say your name. Blues to play. Oh, makes you feel alright. Oh, till the feeling bites. Oh, gets you through the night. Oh, it's got a lot of fights. Fact is, blues he really got some bite. Usually bring booze when I go out at night. Wine ain't pain, but booze is just my pill. Blues top shelf more than anything in the steel.
the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad with our special guest, C. Michael Pickens, and I'm here with my co-host, Kurt Nelson, and the voice of reason, Miss Heather Nixon.
Hello.
So we have a very interesting summer, or spring rather, coming up May 31st, the 41st annual summit, Libertarian Summit.
Yeah, it's the Cascade Liberty Summit. Last year, we had the most well-attended state party convention in the entire country. This year, we're going to double our numbers. We're already on track to doing that. And we've got some great speakers. We've got this guy. He's the lead singer of the Hot Rod and Romeos. He does this Johnny Rocket Launchpad radio show.
I've heard about this guy.
He's going to be speaking. We're going to make sure he's good and liquored up beforehand.
That's the key. That is the key.
Yeah, make sure I don't.
It cost me a small fortune in liquor to run this show.
That's my job.
I'll be like, I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. No, I'm not going to do that.
We also have another rock star. He's not as big as Johnny Rocket. It's Chris Novoselic from Nirvana. He's going to be speaking at our convention too. He's a
Very
libertarian. He's also chairman of Fair Vote now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
we-
checked them out.
But now, if he's listening to this and he heard you say that, is that not cool or like
Dude, it's very cool.
He was just
Man,
the
he's
bass
a-
player, man.
He's a
one note at a time, man? One note.
You have heard that before, you know, like did you ever hear the letter about the girl who accidentally slept with the bass player? You know,
Oh, right.
She's like, oh my God, I just woke up and I just found out this guy, it was in a band and he was the bass player.
He was only the bass
He's
player.
only the bass player. Like, oh my god.
no. He's going to
never
listen
gonna
to
do that
this and he's
again.
like, "Who the fuck is Johnny Rocket?" I'm going on.
You're right. Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. We love you, man.
We love you, bro.
Sorry about that.
We also have Governor Gary Johnson, who was our presidential candidate in 2012, and our vice presidential candidate, Judge Jim Gray. We got both of them to speak. The only state
That's-
party in the entire country to get both of them to speak.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And then
That's
our
awesome.
our 1984 presidential candidate, David Bergland, will be there.
Wow.
Our National Libertarian Party chairman, Jeffrey Neal. Dude, we've just got a ton of speakers. We've got 17 other vendors that are going to be there. I'm talking about from all across the political spectrum. Oath Keepers, Open Carry, Washington State Tea Party, the Cannabis Action Coalition. We have the Liberal Rifle Association. It's going to be in attendance.
Wow.
Right?
Sweet.
That's pretty awesome.
Democrats that support gun rights. You know, the Veterans Party of America is going to be there. Center for Self-Governance, Blue Republicans, Equal Rights Washington. We just have a whole list.
And the Johnny Rocket Launchpad will be there too.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad
yeah,
will be
we will
interviewing
be
our
there. We
candidates
will
and
be
our
there.
speakers. So it's going to be a freaking awesome time. And the most important thing that people need to understand is that it's a free event to come see the speakers. Okay, Friday night we're having a mixer. It's free. We're dropping $800 on some food. The bars, you got to pay for your own drinks. But hey, that's how it works. I'm not going to buy your booze for you.
Okay.
Right?
You'd go broke.
Yeah.
Just don't invite Johnny.
Right. Johnny Rocket's going to be here. It's a cash bar.
Right.
We don't have vodka here now. No, sir. You might want to check at the other hotel down the street.
Right.
So the speaker session's free, the business session's free, the mixer's free. The only thing you have to pay for if you want is food. And that's lunch is $20, dinner's $35. And it's very inexpensive compared to some other political conventions. You go to the Republicans or Democrats convention, you're going to drop $300
It's $100 a plate or something.
just to get in the door. $300 just to get in the door. It's like, you know what? We want to bring people in, and the way to do that is to not charge them a bunch of money, because that's not what politics is about. At least we don't think it is. We think
Right.
the people should take back the political structure here in America. So how? It wouldn't make sense for us to charge an arm and a leg to let people come in.
Absolutely. And, I actually have a couple Democrat friends of mine who are coming.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very nice.
My sub drummer or fill-in drummer, Dave Warburton.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. He's like, hey, I don't agree with what you say, but I'm going to go because I support
Check it
you,
out.
bro.
Nice.
Oh, right on.
And see, that's the thing, man. Last year at our convention, Judge Jim Gray came up and he gives the same kind of speech, or he gave the same kind of speech at different Libertarian Party conventions, and he asked the same question. He asked this. He says, who here is here for the very first time at their first Libertarian Party convention? And typically what happens is very few people raise their hands when he asks this question, right? One or two people raise their hands. Then he goes on to talk about how we need to reach out to more people. Well, he comes up to our convention and he asks that same question. Over half the crowd raises their hand.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, this is my first time.
Right.
And he was just like taken back. He didn't know what to say. He totally screwed his speech up. Totally screwed his
expecting.
Then he's like,
well, you know what? Great job. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, America.
America.
Here's the thing, though. I'll tell you what, Gary Johnson, awesome. One of my heroes, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just hope I get to. I don't. I hope. Maybe we can ask him to be on the show. Maybe we can
that'd
set
be
up
awesome.
a little.
That would be so awesome.
That would just be.
Yeah, we'll get you set up. We'll get an interview. But a lot of, one thing a lot of people don't know about him, when he was governor of New Mexico, he took $1 billion budget deficit, turned it to $1 billion budget surplus.
Right.
He was able to cut spending. He left the state with a balanced budget. He vetoed over 750 bills as governor. That was more bills than all the other governors combined at the time that he vetoed.
Fantastic.
He was about liberty.
Wow.
That's
He was.
exactly what he is.
He was about
and he
liberty.
ran as a Republican
He
originally.
ran as a Republican.
Against Rand Paul.
No. Oh, no, okay.
Ron Paul, excuse me.
In the
Bleh.
presidential election, yes, but in New Mexico, what was interesting is that he ran as a Republican in a 2-to-1 Democrat state, and he won. Why? Because he came out against the war on drugs. He came out for legalization of marriage for everyone.
Right.
Right. He was pro-liberty on every issue. And that's what
absolutely.
people resonated with.
And and again, with the money, he reduced the deficit, had a surplus. This is what we're looking for here in Washington.
Yes.
And I don't see it in the horizon. I don't see it on the event horizon anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what, man.
Hopefully, like this. I mean, the whole movement or the uprising of the libertarians and the unification of the libertarians. I mean, that could very well change, especially with the 20, possibly 22 candidates that we have going on right now, or could be coming up.
Yeah.
It could really stir some the shit.
There's something very unique about what we're doing up here. I've required all of our candidates to agree to running for office a minimum of 3 times. Okay. So the first time you run, it's a wash. You're just learning what to do. This is your first time, going on radio interviews, your first time talking to the media, right? This is just getting your feet wet and learning the skills that you need to be successful, because everything that we do to win elections is just a learned skill. How to knock on doors, how to talk to people, how to answer questions. These are all skills that can be learned.
What, and like the Jehovah's Witnesses are really skilled at knocking on people's doors.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Would
so
you
I gotta,
like to be interested in libertarianism?
So I got a story. So we had a candidate in Spokane, James Abker, this past Sunday. He went out and knocked on doors, and he called me afterwards, and he said, "Hey, man, I learned 10 ways of not to ask people for signatures." Right? But
Hey, would you like to hey, guy,
but he did learn the correct way through his failures or through his mistakes,
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
Trial and success.
Sure.
Right? Trial and success. You're going to keep going. You can keep pushing at it. You're going to make some mistakes, but it's okay. Most people think that there's 2 paths to reaching your goal. One is failure and one is success. But there's really only one path. And along that path, there's a bunch of different failures, small failures along the way.
part of success.
Yeah. Then you're going to get to success because you're going to learn along the way. And then the next time a similar situation comes up, you're going to see that red flag, and you're going to know what to do, and you're going to move through it really quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's been, we learned, doing a radio show. Never done one before.
Yeah.
Kurt's never done one. Heather's never done one.
Nope.
I didn't know how to fucking do one. You know what? But guess what? We've had a lot of failures. Look, you notice there's no episode 1 and episode 5, right? On our website. Well, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
All right. But those are failures. But
You learn from it.
you learn from it.
That's why you're not drinking vodka tonight.
No, exactly. I've switched
Not,
to.
not that we can see anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
That's,
were
Heineken.
opportunities.
Yes.
So I wanted to write a book, so I Googled how to write a book, and that's how I learned how to write a book. I didn't go to college. I barely graduated high school. I went
Right.
to construction right after high school. And that leads me to another point. The government education system just sets people up for failure. Oh, everyone needs to go to college, and if you don't go to college, you have no worth. Right?
Well,
so then,
that's not true.
Then it makes all these other people. Well, that's how they push it.
Right.
I know it's not true. I went into construction. I said, "Screw you guys. I'm not going to college. I'm
Right.
not going to waste my time learning all these things."
I'm
that
going
I'm
to start
not
making
gonna-
some money.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not interested in math or numbers or any of that. I want to work with my hands and
Sure,
do things
sure.
I love to do.
I mean, if you have the money and you have the time, if college is something you want to do, I think, it's great. Because, I mean, why I think college could be good is because I would look at it as, hey, this person has commitment. This person can commit to something
That's
for
the
4
thing.
years.
That's the
There
thing.
is value
And this
there.
person has a little bit of knows a little bit about everything. You studied your math,
Yeah.
you studied your history, you studied your science.
There's something there's something that comes with that. John and I got our degrees in audio around the same time.
Yeah.
And when I started that school, I came to Seattle, and I was like, my dad was proud of me for not going to college. Like after it took me until I was like 28, 29 years old to get back in with like dad. We're in good graces, and he's like, let me tell you something about going to college. Maybe I was wrong about that. Anyway, I got down here. I've been in audio for 25 years or something. I came down here and everyone's like, that's cool and everything, but what have you done? And,
when are you going to get a real job?
Right.
But
And
here's the thing though, you had actual experience versus
a lot of it.
Right. Some people don't even, they have a degree, but they have no experience.
Right. But I went back and got that the college degree as a topper, and I ironically now I get noticed. Like, oh, here's an engineer. He's got a bunch of experience. And what? You got a degree too? And so that kind of took me by surprise. When I came to Seattle almost 10 years ago, I never even would have dreamed of getting a degree in something that I'm already good at. But I went and I got the degree, and it says something.
It does. And another thing I think is cool about that degree, though, a lot of people go, oh, the Art Institute.
Oh, the Art Institute.
Well, here's the thing. That school is not easy.
No, it's not.
A lot of people think it's an art school, so people sit around, draw paintings,
Finger
and talk
paints.
about their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel when you drew that picture? Oh, I felt sad, and the blues were very depressing. No, it's not like that. It's seriously it was kind of like a tech school for us. It was. But I think that schools are good if you have the time and money. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. I don't think, because there's a lot of most of the most successful people, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they didn't go to college.
So one of our proposals to fix education is to implement a voucher system. Basically, the state of Washington pays about $10,000 per child to go to school. Well, a voucher system, now the parent would have that check for $10,000 where they could take their child to any school they want. What would happen, and what's happening in states that are implementing this voucher system, all these specialty schools are popping up, right? So if you're 15 years old and you know what, I don't want to do math or psychology or go to college, I want to be a mechanic. Well, you can go to this specialty high school that starts teaching you mechanics
In the
at
ninth
an early
grade.
age. Yeah, ninth grade. So you're ahead of the game. But most kids that want to be a mechanic, they got to go through 12th grade before they can even start learning something they want to learn about.
Right.
Or work in their garage, but then still have to go to school and deal with all this other stuff that they're never going to use.
And what else also that would eliminate would be that, hey, I live in this zip code and I live in this area of town, and this is a bad school just because I don't make enough money to afford to live in this certain neighborhood where there's the elite school.
That's where a voucher system would come in.
Exactly. And I think that's a great
Because
idea.
these schools would have to get better, or the parents are going to take their kids out.
Exactly.
Right. And like you said, there are other kinds, like England, if you're going to go to college, you go to prep school. And then instead of going to a prep school, they go to a trade school, and that is their high school.
There it is.
And that system works. I knew a gal when she went to school for horticulture, and she came over here as an exchange and got a job with the park department. And that was her passion. That was her love. So they steer kids into things they're interested in, and then they succeed. And they don't fail. They don't feel stupid because they don't get algebra. You really cater to what they're interested in and build up their self-esteem.
Exactly. That's a smarter way to do it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Only thing I think that possibly should still occur. Even if that school is focused on I want to be a mechanic or I want to be a machinist or whatever, I think that school should still kind of implement
Teach libertarianism, right?
Well,
You got it.
Yeah,
You got
exactly.
of course.
Okay, great.
But
Glad we're on the same
again,
page.
like overall general stuff, like, hey, we have a couple classes here that kind of sprinkle in some general knowledge. I think that's
course.
very important. And if you had just a tech school, maybe you can have more advanced tech schools when you go to college. You know?
And maybe the English class in the tech school, you're learning English through different scenarios that have to do with mechanics.
Yeah,
right.
sure. I'm sure they'll
You're
develop
writing
a
instructions on
curriculum.
how to
Yeah.
fix this part of the motorcycle or whatever.
Right. Well, at the mechanic school, we learn mechanic jargon.
go.
Hey, there you have it. There's shit.
Mechanic jargon 101.
Yeah, no. This is the mechanic lexicon. All right, here we go. I'm learning so many damn words. Again, I started at Vintage Customs. Dude, this is a new gig for me. I've never,
You should go get the jargon class.
Yes, I didn't get the jargon class 101. I missed that in high school. But yeah, they're like, yeah, check out that rear hip on that vehicle. I'm like, what the fuck's a hip?
Yep.
Now I know because I don't want to look like an asshole.
You're looking at the headlights and like, oh yeah, it is badass, dude.
That's fucked up. Hey, Johnny, other side. Oh,
Well, the thing that pisses me off about a lot of these Democrats who say they're pro-choice, they say, okay, what about education? Do you think parents should be able to choose where their child goes? Oh, well, no, the government needs to be involved in that. Okay, so you're not pro-choice.
Of course, absolutely. No, they want, and I just can't get over the fact that how do they sell this idea that the government is the answer for everything? I just still cannot. You are the one in charge of your life, not the government. And I don't understand why we have to keep relying on them for answers, which doesn't make any sense.
Our education system programs children psychologically. That's what it does. It's built on the Prussian education model to build good little workers, good, obedient workers.
Right. It doesn't teach you how to think. It teaches you how to memorize. It's rote memory.
Yep.
It's based on, can you memorize all this shit? Yeah, I can. Okay, good. You're smart. You have an A. Versus, can you think why you're doing what you're doing? You know, that's the question. That was the question I had throughout my whole life. They piss people off. Okay, I'll do what I have to do, but why am I learning this? How can I apply this? Versus just learning this to learn it.
I took Algebra 1 3 years in a row, and every time I'd ask my teacher, okay, so tell me where I'm going to need this later in life. Oh, well, if you're going to be a chemist, nope, not going to happen.
I'm not going to be
had that conversation.
Well, you know what, though?
Right,
I'm sure
back
Chris
to my
Kelly said the same
drawings.
thing, man. Chris Kelly said the same thing. I'm never going to be a fucking chemist.
Yeah.
Right? He's fucking in a lab with fucking pot everywhere. Okay. You never know. I don't know. Anyway, this is Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction with our special guest, C. Michael Pickens. We're going to play a couple commercials here from our sponsors. We'll be right back. This episode of the Johnny Rocket Launchpad is recorded at Tommy Sound, White Center's best and utmost professional recording studios for your sound reinforcement, studio recording, and audio production needs. Please contact Tommy Martin at bambam@tommysound.com, 206-229-7937. Rock and roll from Tommy Sound. The views here at the Johnny Rocket Show does not necessarily reflect the views of Tommy Sound. Johnny Rocket is a libertarian, and Tommy does not necessarily share the same views that Johnny Rocket and the Launchpad crew possess. So if you feel like you are offended by Johnny Rocket Show, Tommy Sound had nothing to do with it. Thank you for your support.
Are you interested in getting the word out about your business, band, or upcoming event? The Johnny Rocket Launchpad broadcast is the place to share your message. Shoot us an email at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com to discuss how we can help you boost your business.
Are you a small business owner or starting a new business in Washington State or Idaho? From startup to daily business operations, the law offices of P. Steve and Aida can assist you with your legal needs. Strategy for business development, intellectual property, and contracts are just a few of the many services P. Steve and Aida offers. Give them a call at 253-858-5434 and visit their website, aidalaw.com, AITALAW.com. Chris Kelly, Libertarian candidate, 34th District, Position 1, believes in liberty, freedom, and justice. Chris Kelly will work to establish a clear path from the underground to legal and economic responsibility by capturing the full potential of the cannabis industry, including hemp, which will create new jobs and boost the bottom line. Leading by example in the area of campaign finance reform, he will fight for a free and open internet and accessible education. Support Chris Kelly. Go to his website, facebook.com/repchriskelly. Vintage Customs in Tacoma specializes in the restoration of vintage European automobiles and racing vehicles. From complete restorations to rust repair, performance improvements to upholstery jobs, you can count on Vintage Customs to provide precision, quality, and superior craftsmanship on every project. Now offering performance racing parts. Give them a call at 253-267-5262 and visit their website, www.vintagecustoms.net. Everything vintage is our custom.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
It's Johnny Rocket back at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction with our special guest, C. Michael Pickens, our voice of reason. Miss Heather Nixon, say hello.
Hello.
Kind of quiet again today. Are you all
I'm
right?
a little tired. Long week at work.
She has a hard time getting a word in edgewise.
Yeah, male-dominated table. It's like, oh, God,
Well, as I said before, I'm just letting you menfolk talk.
I feel bad for Heather sometimes, and then other times I don't.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, we have C. Michael Pickens here. So tell us a little bit more about this convention coming up May 31st.
Okay, so like I told you before, the speaker session's free, and just lunch, dinner, whatever you want to pay for. It's going to be an awesome event. We're going to have music, introducing every speaker. We're going to be nominating all of our candidates. It's going to be exciting. The point of a convention is to motivate and inspire people, and that's what ours do, and that's the goal of it. It's not, do the whole political thing. It's like a party. You know what I mean? We've got mixers on both Friday and Saturday. So
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, that's one thing I like about the Libertarian Party.
Yeah,
every day's a party.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, it's a real party, not a political party.
There was a short period where I left the Libertarian Party and joined the cocktail party. That worked out really good.
That's what I need to join.
That's where you and Johnny hooked up, I think.
Yeah. So the convention is on May 30th and 31st, and it's going to be here in Seattle at the Doubletree at the South Center Mall. And you can learn more about that at our website, lpwa.org. And also, if you like what you've heard about what we're doing here in the state of Washington, we operate solely on individual donations. We don't have any big corporate sponsors. I don't walk around with a Boeing patch on my shirt or Microsoft or anything like that.
Right.
Because we are grassroots.
Well,
it's the individuals.
And that's the way it should be, because then that's the people, and libertarians are the voice of the people, the common person. The guy goes, well, I work all day, shit, I don't have time for politics. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Well, the thing is about our conventions, we have inspiring speakers, but they're not speaking for an hour. You don't sit there and listen to someone drone on for an hour.
Thank
short,
God,
inspiring speeches, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and I don't have time to write an hour speech.
Keep it up, because I can't pay attention for longer than a couple minutes anyways. So, what's the point?
It's like you might as well be in school, at that point.
It's not, fuck, you're not being lectured.
And the square root is...
you're like, wah, 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 wah.
Liberty.
Libertarianism. Hey, just off topic here before we're going to talk about your book and stuff like that, but before
I'm going to give it away for free.
Dude.
Well, before we get into that, because C. Michael Pickens will be giving his books away for free. Or you have one book, right?
I have one book now.
You're working on the second one.
Two others in the work, yeah.
Okay. I got a question. I was talking to Robin Kerner, and what we discussed was he brought up a good point. He said that basically the libertarian is kind of a bad word in society right now. And I wanted your kind of view on it. He says most people are turned off by that.
Well, see, this is the thing. Robin doesn't do a lot of outreach. Our organization is an action organization. We've got 20 candidates right now going out and collecting signatures to get on the ballot, not paying the $426 because I told all of them, you are not giving the government $426. I'm sorry. You're going to go collect signatures and you're going to go door to door. And actually, the number one question we get when we say, oh, I'm a libertarian, they're like, well, what is a libertarian? It's not that, oh, well, libertarians are bad. No, we rarely ever get that.
Well, I hear, I think the media does kind of create, both parties do it to us.
Well, the media is bought and paid for by both parties. So they try to paint a picture of what a libertarian is.
We're crazy anarchs.
Exactly. And we've got to fight that and show that we have real common sense solutions that most people would agree with.
We do have to fight that, though, because the media is reaching the public.
Oh, yeah.
And they're painting that picture of the libertarian. And that said, that we need to go out there and go, no, that's bullshit.
That's why I love this show.
That's just why we're anti-media.
That's why, that's why I love what we do, because our guys are out there knocking on doors. We are an action organization.
Yeah, we're on NWCZ Radio, which is cool because they're actually, they're not libertarian-based station or anything like that, but they're like,
internet,
you know what?
So that's not media, right?
Yeah, but we're on their show. This will be airing on NWCZ Radio.
Yep.
And again, they're giving us the opportunity to get our word out there.
Yep.
And I don't know how many people we're reaching. I want to get more syndicated, more stations picking us up. Internet radio, great. I would love that. Just because, especially liberty-minded, and I think there's a lot of people can relate to what I'm saying. People, common sense kicks in. People go, yep, no, they shouldn't be doing that. No, we should. Yeah, we should have the right to do that.
Well, and I'll have a lot more editing to do once we hit the airwaves.
Yes, so definitely.
I'm for internet radio. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Oh, it's great because we have like a 2-week delay, so people won't hear this show for another 2 weeks.
Well, this is the thing, man. You can go out there and promote libertarianism without actually having to say the word libertarian, because you can say, hey, dude, have you heard the Johnny Rocket Launchpad blogcast or online radio show? Dude, it's awesome. Listen to that. There you go.
Well, what's funny is that you had sold the show so well to people that they had thought that this is like, we're in a recording studio. And
Hey, we are in a recording studio.
No. Like in a tower. And, we just have like a secretary and a staff. And yeah, we have Todd. He's like in the background sweeping as we were talking right now.
Yeah, I'm building walls
Yeah,
over there.
building walls. But I think people get, you sold it really well.
Maybe I kind of embellished it.
Yeah,
Like,
No, that's fantastic.
No,
hey,
please
listen to
keep
this, man. I
embellishing.
got you booked on a radio show.
Yeah.
It's a Johnny Rocket Launchpad.
And you're like, wow,
Please
that sounds
continue
great.
That's all
do
true.
so.
It's all
It
true.
is all true.
It's just in the inflection of my voice, right? The excitement.
That shit sells, man. I mean, the Johnny Rocket Launchpad's the greatest shit since sliced bread, but I don't know. That's my opinion. I just think that, Robin was just kind of apprehensive and saying, basically, I want to say everything that you are saying without using the word libertarian.
Yeah, so Robin Corner, he's very unique because he runs Blue Republican. He founded that, and his whole mission is to promote liberty
Above party.
Above party, the concepts, the underlying concepts.
Right.
And he's a writer for the Huffington Post, which is a liberal, news organization, and he's able to reach those media outlets. And
That's
this
great.
is the thing, speaking liberty on their terms. Let me ask you this. Do you think anyone who voted for Obama refers to the Affordable Care Act as Obamacare?
No.
No, they don't. So when you're out there talking
Wait,
to
I do.
okay, well,
Because I did.
She
vote,
has to.
Yes. No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't.
Okay.
maybe I should rephrase that and say anyone who still supports Obama, do they refer to it as Obamacare? No, they call it the Affordable Care Act. So we have to be careful depending on who we're talking to.
Right.
Like, if you immediately call it Obamacare, they're going to fucking put brick wall. Done.
Right.
Right? Oh,
Right.
this guy's a Tea Partier. Or this guy's a conservative. He calls it Obamacare.
Right. No, you're
Are you going
right.
to bring up the birth certificate next or what?
Yeah, exactly. That's media,
Which
though.
doesn't make any sense because at one time it was okay to call it Obamacare. He called it Obamacare. So
Right. He's like, I like the sound of that. And he was going off. That was some
But before
stupid-
it was Obamacare, it was Romney Care.
Right, it was.
Dude, yeah. Kurt Nelson care sounds kind of cool, too.
Rocket Care.
Rocket care. No, that's
just
different.
That's just a pass for a bar or something.
Right. Rocket care. Here's a beer. PBR, baby. It's on.
Well, now I switched over to PBR. We
Right.
We were rocking.
The Heinies.
Yes, I had 3, and now I'm on number 4. I just opened it. I'm impressed, man.
I'm impressed by you. That
Usually, right now, I'd be like, "Fuck you!"
it seems as though you actually have 2 open.
No, this was here earlier. I didn't want to
head of that's yours.
confuse.
He's saving it.
That was a mystery beer.
So one of my favorite founding fathers was Samuel Adams, and he owned a brewery that he inherited.
I've heard of
but
that.
He went from bar to bar, getting drunk, talking about the principles of liberty and freedom and revolution from England. Right.
Right.
He didn't sit around at his house, just talking to himself.
Right. No, you have to get the message out. And I like the idea. And that's what I do here's the thing. I figured, one of the other things I wanted to do with this show was to actually feel like whoever's listening to the show is sitting at a bar with us, having a beer, and talking politics and talking about things that piss us off and ideas on how we can make it better. I mean, I'm always up for ideas to make systems better. I mean, your voucher idea, awesome. And I haven't heard that yet. And that was fucking pretty badass, dude. And I'm sure I'm going to be blown away with some more libertarian ideas at the convention May 31st at the Doubletree Hotel.
Hotel and Casino.
Hotel and Casino, the Emerald Queen. Yeah, no, in Tukwila. And so that's going to be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a blast. And I think, Kurt, are you going?
Yes, I'll be there, and I'm doing sound.
That's if he agrees.
You don't have to commit.
We'll leave it in. We'll probably leave it in anyways.
I want to hear more about those free books.
Okay, so my book
free books.
is called Libertarian Leadership, Planting the Seed for a Libertarian Future. And the word libertarian itself just means believer in liberty, right? So I offer practical solutions that we can use and, ways to motivate yourself, to motivate others. The way that I spoke about this show. Dude, I just got you an interview on the Johnny Rocket Launchpad.
Right.
And the enthusiasm in your voice. Now, if you talk about liberty, so we got, the Libertarian Party and you're not going to get anyone excited about it.
Right.
But if you talk about it and you're enthused, if you understand our mission and you're on board, you're going to go out there and you're going to bring people in. And that's what we have to do. And my book is about that. And I'm giving it away for free, a digital copy. So it doesn't cost me anything. I'd rather the ideas got out there and I didn't make any money because I don't care. Right. I'd rather promote the principles of liberty and recruit more libertarians in. So that's going to be on my personal website, and that is libertarianleadership.org. And when you get the book, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're also going to be signed up to our new quarterly newsletter, which is free as well. You know, it's a digital version we just send out, and that's going to be full of stories from current candidates and activists. And there's going to be some funny stories in there too. So it's something unique, right? So libertarianleadership.org, you can get a free download, and there's going to be announcements on trainings and free videos going out. It's going to be awesome.
It just sparked an idea. I might just, maybe I can submit a article or something.
You can.
I just think it'd be hilarious because it's going to be offensive. I'm just going to be like a Johnny Rocket. It'd be like the show, but in
Dude,
writing.
I'm going to be on the PA with a tone generator going beep, 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 beep.
No, just really, they'll be like, who the fuck is this guy? How did they get him out of the asylum? But anyway, so man, this is great. And so, what's the plans for the Libertarian Party in Washington? I mean, what is the ultimate goal right now?
So we have a long-term vision with a short-term focus. Right, we're focusing on our campaigns
cool.
right now, but all our guys are running 3 times, and not only that, but they're going to help mentor other candidates. They're going to help set up their campaigns as they get going, and pretty soon we're going to have a libertarian challenging every election. Every seat that's available will have a libertarian on the ballot. That is the goal, because that's what's going to get the word out there about libertarianism. See, the thing is, if you don't have a product to sell, you can't make any money, right? And it's the same thing in politics. If you don't have a candidate on the ballot, guess what? You're not getting any votes. So the reality is, people are like, yeah, well, there's more than 2 parties. But then when you look at the ballot, you're like, no, there's not. You got a Republican or Democrat, or Democrat Republican. You got a choice between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. And we're the guys coming in offering the common sense solutions.
Yeah, well, it's a shit sandwich, but nobody says you have to eat it all at once. That's my.
Just take some bites.
Johnny.
You can nibble on it, man.
Johnny.
That's an old expression, military. Sorry. No, I absolutely agree. We do have another choice, and I think we, like you were saying, there's more than one choice or more than 2 choices, but there is a third choice, and there's the Green Party. What is it? Or a Constitution Party or something like that, but nobody knows about those people.
There's a bunch of other parties.
But I mean, really, the Libertarian Party is the 3rd biggest party in the United States.
Yes, it is.
And really, I think we're doing pretty well. I mean, for the 3rd biggest party in the United States, I think,
the numbers just came back, and over the last year, the Libertarian Party across the country has grown by 11.4% in voter registration. And these are in the 30 states that do register per party. The Republicans and Democrats both lost voters. 1.5 million voters left the Republicans and Democrats and either went to independent, no party preference, or libertarian.
Wow.
So the big parties are losing because people are realizing how full of shit they are.
Right. Well, they're both the same thing, really. Yeah. I mean, opposames.
Opposame.
All right. I got a question for you real quick. What is your take on this? This is a personal question, but what is your take on the libertarian ideas and the new Republicans that are going on right now, like the Rand Paul, the Ted Cruz's, the more libertarian-minded Republicans that are trying to, kind of incorporate liberty-based ideas into their politics? I just want your opinion on this.
So I say go for it. And I actually spoke at the Republican Liberty Caucus Convention of Washington State last year, and that's what I said to him. I told him, keep doing what you're doing. Work hard. Take over the Republican Party. I've got nothing against that. And there's the Democrat Freedom Caucus, trying to do the same thing. We need to put our ideas in every party, not just the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party is just a vehicle. It's the vehicle that I've chosen.
Right.
And one thing I want to talk about that is unique to Washington is that we have a top 2 primary system, which means that only the top 2 vote getters from the primary move on to the general election. So when the media all across the country says, oh, well, there's a libertarian and he could be a spoiler, guess what? There can never be a spoiler in Washington State, which means that we're fighting it out in the primary to get at least 2nd place. If we get at least 2nd place, then we're moving on to the general election. And we've just won just by getting 2nd place, just by showing that we could beat either a Democrat or a Republican in there.
Eventually it will happen. It's a matter of time.
It will happen.
What's your prediction on that? When do you think it will happen?
I'm thinking 2016 is going to be our big year.
Okay.
We're calling this convention the Rise of the Libertarians, here in Washington State, because, we've got 20 candidates now. We are growing. We're rising. We're moving up. We could see the growth from 2 years ago till now. From, 2 years ago, our convention, we had 3 times the amount of people show up last year than the year before.
Right.
There's growth that we could document.
There's a constant state of growth happening. I agree with you 100%. I think there's going to be some major changes happening here very shortly. Hey, anyways, old man, seriously, Michael Pickens, honor to have you, man. Awesome. Finally getting to meet you. You know, we've been buddies on the phone and talking on Facebook and shit like that, but it was an absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah, and it's truly my honor to be able to come on your show. Heather, Kurt, yourself, Johnny, thank you so much for having me on here.
No,
I really
thank you.
appreciate
No,
it.
Seriously.
thanks, man. You're a
Glad to
great
have
guy.
you.
What's that? Heather, what says?
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm glad
okay.
he's
I
here.
thought you said something. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. Seriously, it's
No,
gonna.
she did. She said thank you.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great work, and I
Yeah,
really
well-
appreciate it. You know, like you have no idea how grateful I am for what you guys are doing, because you don't have to be doing this. You're not getting paid to do it. You're here on your own time for a cause that you believe in,
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's fun, man. And you know,
which is becoming a famous radio star.
yeah, you know,
Right. You know, that's a good cause. That's a good cause. You know?
yeah, it never hurts. You know, eventually, hopefully, we get some sponsors from like Amazon or something
But
like that. you
Video
know?
killed the radio star, though.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Actually, radio killed the rock and roll star.
I'm
something.
gonna make a prediction, and I'm gonna predict that this show is gonna go nationwide. That there's gonna be libertarians, and not just libertarians, but people all across the country. You know, a year from now, or 6 months from now, they're listening to this show.
I think
because of the foundation that you're building right now.
Yeah, I think 6 months is a good number. I mean, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, I think definitely internet radio because I say fuck a lot.
He does say fuck a lot.
And
It's crazy,
I'm just doing that for just a shock value.
Shock.
You know, just to make sure that the old people are not listening. Anyway, so this is Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad. Thanks again, C. Michael Pickens, for coming on the show. It's an absolute honor. The executive director of the Libertarian Party here in Washington State.
Thank you very much.
Rock and roll, man. And we're going to be playing some tunes from Splatterhouse Records. We'll be right back with the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. C. Michael Pickens will be gone, but we'll stick around and we're going to have some more conversations about liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
Everybody's gone away. See them moving to LA. Ain't a soul I know around. Everybody's leaving town. Some caught a freight, some caught a plane. Find the sunshine, leave the rain. Say this town will waste your mind. Must be right, 'cause it's wasting mine. Some got to win, some got to lose. Good time, Charlie's got the blues. This old heart keeps telling me you ain't a kid at 53. Play around and you lose your wife. Play too long and you lose your life. I got these pills to ease my pain. Can't find a thing to ease the rain. Sometimes I think I'd like to settle down, but everybody's leaving town. Some got to win, some got to lose. Good time, Charlie's got the blues. Some got to win, some got to lose. Good time, Charlie's got the blues.
You never ever stop talking. You always squawking. Well, now, baby, on your head I'll be knocking. Your mouth keeps running, but don't say nothing. That's why I got this 44 in my pocket. Well, now most of you bitches should be seen and not heard. You, the silence is a dirty word. Blah, 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 blah.
the Johnny Rocket Launch Pad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launch Pad, launching ideas in your directions. Wow, we had a great show so far tonight. We had C. Michael Pickens.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, really cool guy. Yeah, he's been helping us with getting candidates on the air. I mean, he's kind of been like, hey, if you want your message out there, please contact Johnny Rocket at the Launchpad. You can get your platform out there to the people.
What a
And
plain nice guy. Dude.
Yeah, he's just a cool guy,
he's,
man.
ready to help out. And
great American,
what a
as I
great
would
guy.
say. Great American.
Great American.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Fuck
This
yeah.
is America.
America. Anyways, though, we have Heather Nixon here, a voice of reason.
Hello.
We have Kurt Nelson.
What up?
And we had some homeless guy who had to, who needed a place to stay for the night. We have Kurt's brother Todd back on the last section here of the show. Yeah, we've had a great night. Man, some stuff going on in the news. We had a Fort Hood shooting. Some crazy.
The thing in Texas.
Yeah, it was today, I
Fort
believe.
Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was weird. And, well, I think one of the points that was going on, this is all I've heard. This will be old news by the time this actually gets aired. There's really no information really regarding what the situation was. I know that they locked down a lot of the military, a large majority of the military installation. The schools on base itself were closed down. And people don't know really what the hell is going on. 4 are dead, 4 are confirmed dead, 17 injured. I don't understand the policy, but
4 dead, including the shooter, is what I'm reading
right
on
okay.
CNN.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going off of memory
Isn't
here.
there a history with Fort Hood? What's up with that?
Yeah. Well, and again, this brings up the point that I was listening to some another show somewhere. I can't remember what radio station it was, but they were discussing the fact that if our military were able to have weapons on post, or if you were issued a weapon.
That's where you were going with that.
Exactly.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it
See
now.
how yeah.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're really one of the only militaries in the United States right now, or correction, in the world, that doesn't have the ability to carry, the soldiers don't have the ability to carry weapons. You sign out a weapon when you need it, you turn it back to the armory. In the meantime, you're walking around unarmed. And it's a military post. I believe that you probably, in my opinion, you should be able to carry weapons.
And yet
Agreed.
we're one of the most
Agreed.
weapon-free countries on earth. Isn't that ironic?
Weapon free, huh?
No, I mean, excuse me, freedom of weapons. We're one of the most we're one of the countries that
allows weapons.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, like
most
for the most
freely.
part.
Right. Yeah, and it's a little strange because every other military uses that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Heather?
Well, I'm looking at the article right now because I hadn't heard about it until you mentioned it. Apparently, the shooter was in Iraq for a while, reportedly suffering from PTSD.
Okay.
He walked into a building with a 45 and just started opening fire.
Wow.
So he was actually, in the military, and he did turn the gun on himself when the military police got there.
They're armed.
Yes.
That's for damn sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
know
when
that.
they confronted him, he did.
You know that?
Yeah.
Firsthand?
Johnny.
Well, yeah, because one of my actually old best friends was a MP.
Oh, okay.
Johnny, I'm going to say something that's maybe a little bit non-PC.
Here we
If you don't
go.
mind.
Well, it's the last section of the
Heather's
launch pad.
got a
This
look
is
on
where
her
shit
face
goes
like, oh,
downhill
God,
anyway.
Here
so.
we go again. No, just please hear me out. PTSD. Okay, here's the thing. Vietnamese or soldiers that went to Vietnam called it having a bad experience and going to war. Nowadays, everyone
I think
comes
they
back
called
with
it
PTSD.
shell shock in World
Right.
War One.
I guess they've actually coined a phrase, so to speak. But what is PTSD other than I was at war and there were people shooting at me and it fucking scared me?
I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but I think.
There's clearly a thing, though.
Well,
There's a thing there.
Oh, it
that
must suck
sucks.
to have PTSD,
okay,
but
I think there is clearly a thing. I think it's a lot rarer than it actually is presented.
Okay,
That's something
fair
that
enough.
could be easily faked or.
It is.
I have PTSD.
I believe it might be
And
called
that's the
stolen
ex-
valor.
and
But that's
the-
hard. That's hard to judge, though.
Or
You
it
know,
is.
because
Right.
it's
When you have someone who
It's not
actually
quantifiable.
was,
Thank you.
Hey there.
if you have someone who actually, he was at war. We don't know what he experienced. People have these traumatic experiences and then they're brought back here and they're expected just to fit back into society. And we don't know what is going to trigger those traumatic memories.
Sure.
So I don't think that we should write off that PTSD is not a real thing.
Or label people.
No, I
Absolutely
didn't
agreed.
say it wasn't real. I just said that I believe that there's a lot of people who.
I just learned that recently, in our war against Britain, initially.
Oh, the Revolutionary War.
You mean the
Revolutionary War.
Revolutionary War, Kurt?
I mean, our war against Britain.
The redcoats are coming and all that.
Yes, and all that. Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes.
Yep, that.
When the Brits, when their soldiers were injured in war, and they went back, to whatever you call the military hospital,
The hospital.
I picture MASH.
Yes.
Okay.
Except for way more primitive.
Right, right. But no, they would, and if they had an injury that could be treated and they could be put back out on the lines, and they had what would be now called PTSD,
Sure,
and they couldn't perform on the front lines, they were shot and killed.
Yep.
Wow.
Their own guy pulled the trigger on him.
Yep.
And there's some wisdom to that. But what I'm trying to say is, and it gets back to the word quantifiable,
right.
Johnny, and simply that I think that our modern military, in their ever over encompassing effort to put a title or a name or
Sure. No.
I just think that like it's the same thing as us as Americans. That everyone, my back hurts and all this. I'm 35 years old, my back hurts. Well, when my parents were 35 or 40 or 50 and their back hurt, they called that life.
Right.
Nowadays, we call it pain management.
Well,
I'm just saying.
everyone has depression. I mean, really, if you really look at it, everyone.
Right.
I mean, we've all been depressed.
I don't-
right?
We're all
depression.
alcoholics. We're all depressed. We all have
Right.
But
I think we're in a society of hypochondriacs. Everyone has a problem. And you're not cool if you don't have a fucking problem. And you're not
10-4,
cool
brother.
if you're in, believe it or not, and my cousin, he works he used to work at Warner Brothers. And what he said he told me, he's like, yeah, everybody here in LA has a shrink. And that's like the cool thing to have, is to have your own
I believe it's a therapist.
or therapist or something along those lines, which is actually hilarious. I mean, it's like, you're not cool unless you have a shrink or a therapist or something like that. Which, again, I'm not saying that they're obviously, I've met people who've come back from war. Yeah, they're
Me too.
They're fucked up in the
Absolutely.
head. And they can't cope with reality. I think there is also some people though who,
Maybe pushing the envelope a little bit.
right. Okay, maybe you had a bad experience.
Had a couple rounds buzz overhead, and you went, "Oh my God, this is for real!"
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, now you're on SSI for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Go ahead, Heather. You were looking at me like you're mad. What's up?
Kind of me too.
I just think that when we're talking about something as serious, something as serious as people in a war zone that are being shot at, that are shooting people, to liken that to everyone in LA has a shrink is diminishing their experience, because they went through a traumatic event. They have nightmares. They can't walk through a crowded mall without having flashbacks. This is something completely different than
Heather.
boohoo American society.
I've had.
Was I done talking?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I guess I was.
No, you weren't.
No,
No, you weren't.
No, I don't. Come on.
I just don't think that you can liken the two. I think it's horrible to take somebody who had something so serious happen to him and liken it to the pussification of America. It's something completely different.
What about a
It's
car
not
accident?
the same thing.
I've had three
I
grizzly
disagree.
encounters in Alaska. They were
No,
horrifying.
I think I disagree, because our soldiers are a product of society. All right. So we are born and bred to be in our society now is creating people who are can't fucking tough it out. There was a John Stossel show that says, "Where's your grit? Men don't have grit anymore." I'm not saying that obviously there is legitimate cases regarding PTSD, but how many people I have met who have PTSD supposedly, and they're fine.
Here's the thing, if I may.
Yeah. go
But
ahead.
I will.
If
but
you will.
If I may.
I'm just saying we are a byproduct of society.
Yes.
We're not soldiers aren't being drafted.
No, it's a completely voluntary system.
Thank you,
We're-
sir.
Right. So you signed up for this.
Right.
I'm not saying that, and I think what Heather may be saying is we have to be careful, because there are specific situations where that a person went through a terrible thing and they're affected from it, and
Certainly.
that's fine, and that's totally fair.
Absolutely agree.
However,
and not just war, whether you were sexually assaulted
Absolutely.
or physically assaulted or,
Sure.
a traumatic death or a car accident.
And I
they
think
can
those
all
things are
affect
maybe-
our lives. And yes, you should be able to, work. You should seek help and try and better yourself. But there are people who need extra help with that, and we need to be aware of it.
sure.
What
And
I'm saying is,
we
I've
should not
literally
be
had
calling all
grizzly
these
encounters that with twice I've had face-to-face encounters with a 12 or 1,400-pound grizzly bear that may or may I have night sweats. I wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares about that.
Here's the thing: is I have
And
no
does that
problem
entitle me
calling
to SSI.
I have no problem calling you a pussy because you're my brother. Whereas
Right. But
the
the
rest of
thing
these
is,
rest
you're
of
the
these
actual
gentlemen
pussy.
or
they're
women, I can't judge. I don't know every situation, and we have to be careful here.
What's
We
your
do.
most terrifying experience, Kurt?
It doesn't matter.
No,
Todd.
no. If you don't mind, what is your most terrifying?
It involves
experience?
you choking me out when I was like 6 years old.
See,
or
he has
something, so.
baggage.
I
love
but
him.
the point is that these soldiers, they signed up for this, and whether or not they got what they signed up for,
Right.
They signed up for it.
they signed up for it.
10-4.
We seem to have a lot more instances nowadays of quote unquote PTSD than we did in, say, the Vietnam War.
Actually, we had none because they didn't even have.
Right,
It wasn't
but
diagnosed.
but I've met some Vietnam vets who were clearly
Fucked up.
fucked up and affected from that.
But I've met some who are fine.
Many who are
Right.
fine. Whatever their circumstances, horrible or not. I'm here to say not a soldier standpoint.
But from
I
a
think-
from a civilian standpoint,
Right, from a civilian standpoint, I don't think that what these soldiers are going through in
is to be
Iraq,
unexpected.
Desert Storm, blah blah blah. It doesn't seem like it as dramatic as what we've seen, what I've heard of in the Vietnam War.
I'm not saying
But
it
that
doesn't.
doesn't matter.
Maybe it is,
That
maybe it
doesn't-
isn't. I
that
could be
doesn't
totally
matter.
way off
It doesn't
base.
matter.
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm saying is that we've created a sensationalized
Yes.
disease like alcoholism.
a diagnosis.
A diagnosis. Alcoholism, like alcoholism, or any kind of drug use. Any kind of
Absolutely.
drug use or alcohol use or any of that shit is not a fucking disease.
And Johnny, it's not
It's a habit.
quantifiable. It's not quantifiable.
It isn't. It's a
You
moving target.
cannot put an actual number on it.
No, you can't. Absolutely. And so what I'm saying is that yes, you can't quantify what is fucked up, who has
love that
PTSD, who doesn't have it, what constitutes it. You know, I got a fucking wound I got a fucking bullet hole in my arm. Okay, I could fucking see you have a bullet hole in your arm.
Right.
Right. It's called, you know what? I'm sorry to say this, but most people I'm hoping would agree. Grow a pair of fucking balls sometimes. You got to deal with
I'm
shit.
not a
Johnny,
soldier.
check this out.
I'm not a soldier. I got a gunshot wound.
Yeah,
No, but
and
I'm just saying
that's a PTSD thing. It really is. And my mom, when she was young, she had a guy climb through her window and attempt to rape her, and then he was scared away. My mom has post traumatic stress. She still has baggage over it. So my point is, like, talking about quantifiability, I don't think you can really quantify what is it that makes someone entitled to be paid for the rest of their life because they had a traumatic experience. I've had some. Kurt shot himself with a 357 right through the gut. That's a quantifiable thing.
It is. But here's the thing.
I was there. I was there
Excuse
when
me.
the guts were
Fuck
spilling
you,
all over
Todd.
the ground.
Fuck you, Heather.
And I can quantify that.
I didn't laugh, dude.
I know, and I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
I love the guttural laugh that Heather just
Right.
came off with. That was funny.
What was even funnier was the eye contact that we made first
Really?
before she lost
Really?
it.
I'm just saying.
But like really, seriously, these things existed forever. These are things that have always existed.
Sure.
What we're using them now is kind of excuses for life. When somebody says, "I've had a very hard life," compared to what other life?
That's
what
not
do you
quantifiable.
fucking exactly? That doesn't. How many times have
Quantify
you
that.
met somebody who said, "I had a hard life"? My dad didn't buy me my Ferrari.
Right.
My 16th birthday.
My
It was
brother got
really
a Corvette
tough.
when he graduated, and I did.
Right. That fuck you. You
Well,
know what I mean?
okay,
but
but-
that's not. That's all perspective. That's not like. I think PTSD in certain regards is fucking perspective.
Sure. And I think we're on the same page with this. Let's
It's
bring
how
this,
you cope with it.
Let's
is-
bring this back to this tragedy in Fort Hood.
Sure.
are we? Is it being said that this guy that our shooter is a victim of PTSD?
No, because you can't quantify that.
Well, they said he had.
Okay,
apparently.
but who's they? Okay, let me bring this home.
It was in his 201 file.
If you're good enough, if you can fake it well enough, or if you're the real deal, either way, then you can be classified. Just like in the same way that someone, I have a shoulder injury. Either I'm going to fake it really well and I'm going to fool a couple doctors, or I actually have a real injury. Either way, if I can manage, I can get SSI for the rest of my life.
Well, I don't think that he was after SSI. He kind of lost it and killed a whole
everyone.
bunch of people, and then he killed himself. So this is completely different.
What I'm trying to say is we're talking about quantifying what labels you or quantifies you as actually either,
The judgment of a psychologist.
Right.
Or a
And frankly,
psychiatrist.
the quote on CNN.com says right here, the subject, a soldier who had served in Iraq, had behavioral health and mental health issues, Miley told reporters late Wednesday.
Okay.
So
No
the guy
question.
had mental
cuckoo.
issues.
Can I shift gears for 1 second, if you don't mind?
Oh, Lord.
I want to request something out of you guys, the team, because it's you three. I'm going to ask something.
Okay.
Can I be known as the voice of unreason?
How about
That's a
you?
request.
No, you just
legit
be.
request.
I'm just saying.
Can I be?
It's Todd Nelson. I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
You'll always be known as Todd Wall Systems to me, man.
Todd Wall.
Tom's.
Tom's Wall.
Tom's
system.
Wall Systems.
Anyway,
That's the only way, man.
I somehow feel oddly like I'm kind of the voice of unreason.
No.
Or like Kurt says, I'm just saying. Because
I'm just saying.
That's a good way to clean that up.
And I think there might be. I'm just gonna say we might see a future, and I'm just saying.
I don't know, but you didn't say anything bad about anyone. You just said I'm just saying. So. Isn't that like the answer to?
I love my
everything?
brother. I love my brother.
I'm just saying. Does that negate everything you just said?
For those
Not
of you
at all.
that don't have a video feed, which is virtually all of you, that's so not cool, dude. My brother just shined a 14,000 lumen flashlight that I talked him into buying into my eyes. That was not cool. I think there's retinal damage.
Okay, hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. We have our sit-in guest, Mr. Todd Nelson, here on the Launchpad. We'll be
Chris
right back
Kelly,
after
Libertarian
these few
candidate,
songs from
34th
Splatterhouse
District,
Records.
Position
We'll
1,
be right
believes
back.
in liberty, freedom, and justice. Chris Kelly will work to establish a clear path from the underground to legal and economic responsibility by capturing the full potential of the cannabis industry, including hemp, which will create new jobs and boost the bottom line. Leading by example in the area of campaign finance reform, he will fight for a free and open internet and accessible education. Support Chris Kelly. Go to his website, facebook.com/Rep Chris Kelly. Are you a small business owner or starting a new business in Washington State or Idaho? From startup to daily business operations, the law offices of P. Stephen Aida can assist you with your legal needs. Strategy for business development, intellectual property, and contracts are just a few of the many services P. Stephen Aida offers. Give them a call at 253-858-5434 and visit their website, aidalaw.com, AITALAW.com. Vintage Customs in Tacoma specializes in the restoration of vintage, European automobiles and racing vehicles. From complete restorations to rust repair, performance improvements to upholstery jobs, you can count on Vintage Customs to provide precision, quality, and superior craftsmanship on every project. Now offering performance racing parts. Give them a call at 253-267-5262 and visit their website, www.vintagecustoms.net. Everything vintage is our custom.
This episode of the Johnny Rocket Launchpad is recorded at Tommy Sound, White Center's best and utmost professional recording studios for your sound reinforcement, studio recording, and audio production needs. Please contact Tommy Martin at bambam@tommysound.com, 206-229-7937. Rock and roll from Tommy Sound. The views here at the Johnny Rocket Show does not necessarily reflect the views of Tommy Sound. Johnny Rocket is a libertarian, and Tommy does not necessarily share the same views that Johnny Rocket and the Launchpad crew possess. So if you feel like you are offended by Johnny Rocket's show, Tommy Sound had nothing to do with it. Thank you for your support.
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. I'm Johnny Rocket with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
What up?
We have the voice of reason, the beautiful Miss Heather Nixon.
Hi.
And Tom from Tom's Wall System. Todd Nelson.
It's actually Todd.
It is Todd's Wall
I'm
Systems.
just saying.
And actually, he's also located on the Johnny Rocket Launchpad.com. Click the link for Todd's Wall Systems. He's on there. If you're listening in Alaska, he does really good work. He uses lasers and shit
Thank you for that
make
plug,
shit
Johnny.
straight. And walls especially. He likes that shit
yes,
straight.
systems.
What we do is we like to fix gunshot wounds in walls.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
If you
like
blew a hole in your wall, we'll
holes.
fix it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you have bullet holes in your walls in Alaska,
Then
or
you're
your
probably a
shit's
friend
not-
of mine anyway, so
or
I'll
if your
probably do it
shit-
for free.
If your shit's not straight, contact Todd at Tom's Wall Systems.
Oh my goodness! All right, if we're gonna do the plug, let's do it right. It's Todd's Wall Systems
.gov.
It's Facebook.com/Todd's Wall Systems.
.edu.
These guys, you know what? I like Johnny, but my brother's a dick.
Fuck you. Anyway.
Anyways,
And Heather's the voice of reason. So.
yes, yes, yes.
Everybody
No, you
loves
wanted
Heather.
to be the voice of unreason earlier.
Well, I mean, no, really. I mean, what it is I like to stir the pot. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I've always
Sure
been
do.
that way. Ask her.
Always has been.
Actually, and you would be considered the whip.
Yeah, whatever. I just like to say things.
The whip creates political.
Here's the thing. It's
tension.
not. It's not even necessarily that it's the way I feel, but I just like to see people's eyebrows go shooting up.
Well, yeah,
It's my favorite thing.
You like shock
Yeah, I
value.
like that.
Shock value.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't know about shock value, but I like to. All right, how about one eyebrow?
That's good.
You know,
you look like
one eyebrow up.
You know, it's funny.
At
is-
least make you go. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
raise a brow, so to speak.
Like that.
So,
you
air
got
quotes.
it. You got it.
Anyway, so when C. Michael Pickens was here, he was discussing this idea, and I think it's fucking brilliant.
That was a fantastic.
It was
guy,
a really
by the
cool
way.
idea, and it was regarding school vouchers. Now, we haven't really talked about this on the show, which is surprising, but I think it's a really good idea. Whereas, if you're, let's say you don't live in the greatest of neighborhoods, right? And if it's public or state-funded money, let's just go with that. The state gives you money, and therefore your kids can go to whatever school they apply to go to, which would therefore create competition.
It speaks to the privatization of schooling.
Well, it does, and it absolutely does, and it should be. I mean,
You know what? I can speak from experience on this one in that both of my children spent some time in alternative schools. In fact, my daughter is enrolling in an alternative school here in Seattle currently, and I think I'm not positive about the way it works here, but in Oregon, they take the money that would be assigned to your child in whatever their zoned specific school would be, and the state is required to give that money to the alternative
had my
school or
son
the
on that too.
online school or whatever the case is. It's a similar type of thing.
It's pretty badass. They sent us a computer. They sent us all their textbooks.
You
They
bet.
sent like a little microscope for a science project.
Yep.
They sent. It was pretty neat. It was on a small scale. What you're talking about.
Well, I think it's cool because in the sense that what I also think is what's beautiful about it behind it is that, again, what I said earlier is that if you live, let's say you live in a shitty neighborhood, man. I mean, you're not going to necessarily. Chances are not
Say
always.
you're in White Center, maybe.
Oh, I think White Center is the epitome of what Washington should be.
Go ahead and say it. Depends on what side of the road you're on.
Sorry, Brian.
epitaph?
Epitome of
Oh, okay.
hyperbole,
All right.
or epitome of hyperbole.
Well put.
Wow.
No, it was a Brian Regan reference. Anyway, so what I think though is that you have people, generally who live in lower income places don't have the school or the better schools. Let's face it. I mean, the parents don't complain when you live, in a shitty neighborhood. I mean,
Right,
they're
and
just-
there's overcrowding. The school levies don't pass, so if you live in a more affluent area, the levies pass, so the school gets more money.
exactly. So I mean, you have you have less technology in there. You maybe got some older shit. You have your computers, but that way it levels the playing field for kids, and kids will be going into schools based on merit and create a competitive edge. Let's say you have a school in your state or your county that you really want your kid to go to. Therefore, he would have to really apply himself to get to that school.
Johnny,
and-
it also opens the door for privatization, which is, let's say that that I'm sick of the status quo, and I have a nice little building, and I decide, you know what, I could house about 20 or 30 students here. And so if I go through the accreditation process, I could accept the same amount of budgetary funds that are appropriated for each one of those students, and I could have them in a private school in my own little building here, and I could probably offer them a better education than they're going to get in the public system.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that there's a lot of things that would happen. I mean, basically teachers, I mean, let's look at it from a teacher's perspective. I mean, the teachers could have the possibility to make more money because if they have better performances, they do better things, they can get paid more based on results. I mean, if you're a kick-ass teacher and everyone's just soaring and reading, maybe you deserve a raise. And if you privatize that school, they would see that, they would reward the teacher. And the children would, be able to read at maybe even earlier age, And
meanwhile, you also non-unionize the scenario and you open up an environment where there's a little bit of competition. And I'm just saying here for a second, if you guys don't mind, but there was a case a couple years ago up in New York State where there was a teacher who had been accused of 17 times of inappropriate behavior with junior high school female students. And they put him on semi-permanent leave. And for 3 years, as of the last time I was following this case, he had been drawing full pay as if he was just on the job every day because he was tenured. That magic word, tenured. I'm putting up air quotes right now. He was tenured.
Right.
And it's that union mentality, like I'm untouchable because I'm in the union. Well, if you privatized it, all of a sudden, I think you'd see some miraculous things.
Sure.
Yeah, you'd have I just think that, especially regarding like businesses, you have the iPhone and you have the Android, right? You put
Let's not forget the MacBook.
Kurt, we're talking about phones.
Oh,
iPhone.
Okay, I'm sorry.
iPhone and Android, right? Those two are in constant competition with each other. One model goes out of style, they make something better. The other company comes up, makes a better product. You have these two companies that are constantly building on top of that. Whereas when you put government into something, right, there's no influx of growth. There's no influx in production. There's no influx of creativity. When you have capitalism backing you, ideas, people want to do things. And it's called pride too.
In the early days of the cell phone, Motorola had it locked up. They were the cell phone.
Yeah,
and
that was the shit. If you worked at Motorola, you were the fucking shit.
Remember that? And then all of a sudden, here come Sony and
Nokia.
Right.
And Nokia is the one that rocked everyone's world. The point
Sanyo.
is, all of a sudden there was competition, and that's kind of the keystone, the cornerstone of capitalism. That's the whole thing. Is competition.
And I think with education, that could be very beneficial. He was also talking about opening up schools at a later time for trade. Kind of what he was saying was, here's the thing. It's not mandatory. You don't have to send your kid to a trade school for high school. Great idea.
But
it should be an option.
It's an option.
I know. I think it should be. So let's say your kid's 17 years old. All he does is wrench all day in the garage. Or let's say he's a computer programmer and all he's doing is fucking writing code and shit. He's not going to fucking work on a car,
Right.
So send him to that fucking school so he can get prepped, understand code, learn more about it. He's
not trying to be on the
goddamn
football team.
There's no point in him studying astrophysics.
Absolutely not. I mean, if he wants to on his side or his, whatever he wants to do, maybe here's the only caveat to that. And here's the devil's advocate to that statement. A person like me, right? I like to do a lot of things. I like art. I like audio. I like video. I like aerodynamics. I like physics. I like this. I like that. I like
Aerodynamics,
cars.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was a pilot.
All right.
Look at his hat, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
I
very,
bet you that sucker would take about 90 miles an hour before it flipped off.
That's right.
It's a badass hat.
Thank you. It's my beer drinking hat. Anyways,
know
no,
this
but what
to be
I'm getting
true.
at is that I just like to do a lot of shit, and that could be a downside to that. Whereas I like to have a little variety.
Then stay in the public school.
Exactly, or not the public school, but a school that's generalized.
Right.
I'm speaking for me, but again, that's a kind of a life. A big life decision if you were a kid at 16 years old and said, what do you want to do in your life? That's a lot of pressure.
Well, these are the fundamentals of the libertarian ideal. Okay, these are the fundamentals: is open the door, try it out. If it doesn't work, let capitalism take its course. If it doesn't work, it'll fall apart, and within a couple of years, we'll go, hey, at least we tried something.
Well, only thing I'm afraid of is if we did implement something like that, or like a trade high school-ish thing, or a tech college, or that focuses on something. I still think that it's imperative that you do have certain fundamental core requirements.
Requirements,
like college math, college English.
Otherwise, our country starts to fall apart educationally.
Right. Yeah, I think
No child left behind.
That's a bad thing.
Well, I just think that it should be based on, like I said, again, though, who am I to say? I don't know. I've changed my mind in my life many times regarding what I want to do. Maybe I get bored of it. I don't know. I just don't know. But I'm just saying, what if you were stuck with something and you're like, oh, fuck, now I have to commit myself to something that maybe I thought I wanted to do.
Sure,
But
for a young person, that's magnified.
yeah,
Well,
and
it's like you said,
yeah.
you have to have educational standards. There needs to be that core state level, blah, blah, blah. And this is where regulation is okay for a minute, for a little piece. It's okay to regulate that you have to have your basic reading, writing, and arithmetic format. After that, let a little bit of freedom take its course. And if it falls on its face, then that school tried. Others certainly would flourish. You never know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, there's a lot of options that people can, do now. I mean, that's a good thing about college. College kind of, I know a lot of guys who go to tech schools. I know a lot of guys who go to art schools and community schools. I mean, believe it or not, really, I could have gotten a community college degree, and I'd probably, it's still just as
It
valid.
would have been way cheaper, though.
It would have been way cheaper and probably just as valid. It's still, it was. Is the art institute a good school? I think it is. I think
it's a great school.
I do too. I think it
Are
was.
you a graduate?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
That's where Johnny and I met.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, same degree, audio.
In
Awesome.
fact, I met Johnny in Studio A over a
This was
bottle
on a previous
and a pistol.
episode already.
Over a bottle and pistol?
Yep.
Yep.
See, the first time I ever met Johnny, I knew there was something. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah, we discussed this
I'm a
already.
guy that
I'm
we-
sure.
it's a bottle and pistol.
This story's already been told, so I'm not going to go into it on the air
Right,
again.
right,
But yeah, the Art Institute.
Right on.
Thank you, Steve Barsati.
Yeah. Steve and Kevin Bressler and Alden Hackman and
Yes, and Rich Hinklin,
Colburns.
Colburn, yeah.
Who else? God damn.
Diane Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys name dropping? Be honest.
Yes.
I'm hoping to
We
suck
want
these
them to
guys
listen
into my
to this
world up in
goddamn
Alaska
show.
this summer late. I'm going to attempt to do it. The land of freedom, the land of pistols and bottles.
Right, which is how Johnny and I met.
Yeah.
Like up there,
Pistols
it's
in a bottle.
politically incorrect to use a shot glass. You pass the damn bottle around,
Right,
Because the
roger
booze
that.
kills the cooties.
That's right.
And whoever's not armed, I can pass out. I can host 7 or 8 people anyway.
Right.
If you're not armed, I can hook you up. And we got lots of ammunition and hardware.
Okay, so this is Johnny Rocket here at the launch pad. We had a great night. Man, we had, wow, packed full of fucking information. Just a whole bunch of stuff. We had our special guest, C. Michael Pickens.
Fantastic.
How about
Awesome executive director of the Libertarian Party in Washington State. We had our sub-guest, our fill-in guest. For the time.
Sub-guest.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying sub.
No, I was sub to him. That dude's a big player. And you know what? I got the pin. I got the little pin.
You got the
Libertarian pin.
Oh, yeah.
Subpar.
We all,
Let's give Heather a shot here. What you got, Heather?
Subpar.
Hey,
Yes.
don't label me. Don't you dare label me.
hey, you know what? We're all like, we're all pretty honored that we all have libertarian lapels
You know
now.
I love you,
That's
Todd.
right.
I know.
We all got these libertarian lapel pins that are
And let
says
me just say-
I'm a libertarian on there.
Yeah.
Let me just say it's always a pleasure being on the show, and it's fun to watch you guys do your
Todd, you're
thing.
awesome, man. It's always a pleasure, and thank you for coming in and hanging out with us, man.
Totally.
I'm just saying.
It's you know
I'm
what?
just saying.
It's like you're never at a loss for words, and I think that's awesome. No,
Neither are
no.
you, brother.
Trust me, man. It's great to have that sometimes because sometimes I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to fucking say to that. But no, man, it's great having you here, man. You're, I consider you family, Todd. So it's all good.
So do
anyway,
I.
so we had a great show. We had C. Michael Pickens. We discussed ideas, the libertarian movement, what the libertarians are going to do, the future of the Libertarian Party. We also talked about C. Michael Pickens' book. He's giving away free copies. Please check out his website. I can't remember it offhand right now.
He said it earlier, though.
He said it earlier. Please review the earlier. I can't. Just look up his name.
Liberty.com.
Libertarianleadership.org or something like that.
Yeah. something
Anyway, so he's an awesome guy. We want to start, really spreading the message. He will be, a lot of guest speakers will be speaking with Gary Johnson, who else? Chris Novoselic, Robin Kerner will be at the 41st Annual Liberty Summit here at Seattle, Tukwila.
Tukwila, right?
Yeah, at the Doubletree Hotel.
I thought it was tequila.
What's that? Say again?
I thought it was tequila.
No, it's
Washington.
Tukwila, bro.
Tukwila. Yeah. Anyways, we had Todd from Todd's Wall Systems.
Tom's Wall Systems.
No, it's Todd. And please check out his website. It's over if you're in Alaska. Anyway, so thank you guys very much for listening here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. We want to thank NWCZ Radio. Anyways, rock and roll. And Johnny Rocket Launchpad is signing off and always launching ideas in your direction. Next week, we're going to have Daryl Fortune from NWCZ Radio. He's the head honcho over there. He's going to come in and talk to us about his political opinions. So anyways, we'll be back with you next week here and rock and roll. Have a great week and see you next Thursday.